Hi everyone, back again. Our grandkids played with our phone. It's easy to blame them and it wasn't rotating properly. So let's start again. We're Pete and Grada, CEOs of the Purple House Wellness Center in Tasmania, and tonight we want to talk to you about enzymes.
Because the importance of enzymes.
Absolutely, and we'll tell you some stories as well, so hang in there. It's going to be interesting and exciting because enzymes may well be the missing link, something that you haven't tried, because we've all heard of vitamins and like people going about vitamin D and so on, as if that's, you know, the answer to everything. People have heard of vitamin C and zinc, but enzymes are absolute key in today's world. In the crisis that we're going through, you know, as humanity is traveling through the next chapter, many people are being compromised. We really don't want to go into too many details, but Pete, just tell us about the client that you saw recently. You know the one I'm talking about? And we see a lot of clients like that.
There's a client who had been for allergy testing, which is quite expensive, up to Lonnie, and she'd been told to cut out everything out of a diet and then reintroduce things one at a time so she could find out what she was
allergic to,
had an allergy to. And she was on a diet that consisted nearly of rice and water. It was
very minimal.
And she was still having digestive issues,
so
even with such a minimal amount in the diet.
So enzymes are absolute key, and we have a lot to talk, so I'll talk real fast. There are 3 types of enzymes that your body needs, right? Enzymes to break down your food. This is what we're talking about here. Enzymes to mop up toxins, enzymes to help you lose weight, enzymes to break down scar tissue. Enzymes are like in America
to clean out your arteries,
to clean your blood, enzymes to keep you young. And our body naturally produces enzymes, but the enzyme production actually drops off after you turn 20, and then there is another sharp drop off after you turn 40. So we want to give you some help here. So like if you experience allergies, aches and pains, scar tissue, clotting. Clotting is becoming very common, so people with clots, you need enzymes. That's absolute key, and then your body can repair itself. So enzymes break down an allergic reaction as well. So Pete, he shouldn't even...
I shouldn't really be sitting here because I had a really severe allergy to milk after I was weaned from breast milk, and I nearly died. I couldn't tolerate any milk, goat's milk, cow's milk.
And you lived on a dairy farm.
And this was back when people hadn't heard of babies being allergic to milk. So there was no answers. And if I'd had the enzyme called lactase to help break down lactose or milk, I would have been fine, I'm sure.
You would have been even finer than you are now.
Yeah. But I would have thrived where I nearly died.
Yeah. And Pete did struggle with his digestion for many years, basically till he was 35 when he discovered enzymes.
Yeah, and it was a vet who introduced me to enzymes. They used to give animals enzymes for lots of things. There's a study done on cats given a processed food diet which totally lacks enzymes, and 3rd generation of kittens were infertile.
So you need enzymes for fertility.
They gave them enzymes again and they became fertile again. So it's needed for everything. They're really important. And yeah, my life turned around, even my mental health. I suffered with bouts of depression. My mental health improved out of sight when I started enzymes, because I was getting everything out of the food that I needed for my body and brain to function correctly.
Yeah, to create a good life force, plus it gets rid of toxins too. So enzymes can be likened to the janitors or, cleaners that come around and clean the mess. Or, I just want to say this, enzymes are also compared to soldiers, right? So soldiers come in after disaster to clean up the mess as well. Or soldiers fight the good fight, they fight the enemy. So the soldiers are like your own internal army, like your military that keeps your body healthy and it boosts the immune system. So
that woman I was telling you about who had allergy testing, she, within a few weeks of taking enzymes, she was back on a normal diet, things she hadn't eaten for months. And yeah, she didn't have to go on a diet that eliminated all those different types of food because she was breaking them down.
Yeah. So Pete and I always try to help restore people's life, like restore your life, so that you can go out and so your nervous system is strong, your digestion is strong, you can go out for a meal, you can eat, different things that you normally enjoy. And so we probably have the largest range of enzymes in Australia, I reckon.
We've got about eight or nine sitting in front of us.
Yeah, all different types.
Types.
Really, really proud of the fact that we do help people with enzymes.
One of them is specifically we got in for the mop up and breakdown mop up of candida, which when we look at people's live and dried bloods, there's indicators of candida in pretty well everyone. And I would personally suggest that probably everyone brought up on a Western style diet would have problems with candida.
Unless you take active steps to combat it every single day.
It's normally a yeast in our intestines, kept in check by the good intestinal bacteria, which if you have a fermented food, you don't need probiotics to keep it in check. And those fermented foods are also full of beautiful enzymes.
That's right. So,
and the food is partially digested.
That's the beauty of fermented food. So we're talking about sauerkraut, kimchi, and of course we're talking about Lovely Guts because our sons have the Lovely Gut company and they're always pumping out new type of taste. So the latest, I forget actually, but there's a huge variety now. You can buy them at IGA stores around Australia and also drink the kefir. But Peter and I particularly know that the fermented vegetables are the most important, right? Because if you have a tablespoon of fermented vegetables every day, your immune system is just going to go through the roof. And so sauerkraut supplies your body also with vitamin C, heaps of enzymes.
Well, that's one vitamin that we test for. Yeah. It probably gives us a lot more than what we know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's right. So then people, what they find is their skin gets better, your nails and your hair, everything starts to glow, you feel better in your body.
There's an enzyme called Digest that I recommend people who have lost their gallbladder go on that one because it's got things to help alkalise the small bowel as well, which normally the bile from the gallbladder does.
Yeah, Omnizyme is a great one. So Omni stands for all kinds of enzymes, right? So this one is specifically only just enzymes. And so this is a really, really powerful one.
Does have some toxin absorbers in to help mop up.
Is that a good idea? Yes.
Toxins in the gut.
I know, so like everyone has toxins, right? And detoxicator, of course, the name says it all. That's another really, really great enzyme. So
it also has some stuff in to help mop up parasites.
Exactly. Because actually parasites are made of proteins and enzymes break down proteins. So, and pretty much everyone has parasites. You should always do a parasite cleanse probably every 3 months. And then you need an enzyme to eat away all the little creatures that are left behind.
Plus, back in 1917, there was a guy called, what was his name?
I forget.
He was an embryologist, a plant embryologist, and he discovered or asked the question, Why does the placenta stop growing at the time it does? Because it acts exactly the same as any internal tumour. So, and he discovered that it stops growing exactly the same time as the fetus's pancreas starts producing enzymes. So enzymes will stop any abnormal
cancer,
tumour growth in your body as well.
It will halt it, yeah.
Yeah, that's one reason to keep your pancreas really nice and healthy, and by supplementing with an enzyme every meal to help the digestive process, you take the weight off your pancreas so it stays nice and healthy. Plus, if you eat a lot of good fats instead of just carbohydrates for your energy source, you won't be eating anywhere near as often, so you don't stimulate your pancreas.
And also, if you happen to have cancer, you can ask your GP to prescribe you Creon enzymes. So Creon is with C-R-E-O-N, and they can be prescribed by your medical doctor. Really, really good. They help to keep cancer cells at bay as well. And
they're the pancreatic enzymes produced by our pancreas. But our pancreas doesn't produce the enzyme to break down vegetables. So that's why it's important to have an enzyme that includes that enzyme in it to help break down all the veggies.
For sure.
We've been told to eat our veggies, but we probably haven't been getting a lot out of them if we haven't had an enzyme.
No, that's right.
Help break them down.
If you want to add years to your life, so what I said, children, they run around. You know how active, you can't keep up with them literally because their little bodies are producing enzymes over the top, right? But then the slowing down shows up inside our body from partly as well from lack of enzymes. So there's also a third type of enzyme, and that is the enzyme that stops degeneration and it stops the aging process. So that is also fantastic news. So all the enzymes that we have will do all of that, right? So it's not that you need one for this and one for that, because the manufacturer, we get them direct from the manufacturer. They create these really awesome combinations. So
there's an enzyme, a systemic enzyme called serrapeptase, and nattokinase is another one. They break down scar tissue, and the reason why they can is because it's the same as the silkworm enzyme. And have a guess what bulletproof vests are made from?
Silkworm.
They're made from layers of silk that can resist a bullet, but it can't resist serrapeptase. Serrapeptase will bore a hole straight through it.
That's right.
And that's the enzyme that the silkworm produces, so it escapes out of its cocoon.
Own little cocoon, yeah. A bulletproof vest apparently is like 30 layers of silk put together, so that stops a bullet, which is pretty amazing, isn't it? So the serrapeptase that the silkworm excretes to escape from the cocoon can be used by our bodies, by humans, to say break down scar tissue, even like I said before, clotting, which is a form of scar tissue in your spine, scar tissue from where you've had a cesarean,
or plaque inside of arteries. It's also in the blend to specifically get rid of candida.
And it's in Inflanorm. I was using a lot of Inflanorm last week when I had a really excruciating painful back, and it helped me immediately. So I'm grateful for that, and so I'm going to stay on that for a while, even though I am pain-free now. I'm still going to stay on this for a while. Plus, a lot of these combinations, and they're all combinations, they have heaps of herbal things in it for your liver as well, right? So they really put together.
Plus that one's got a lot of anti-inflammatory herbal.
Yeah, really great. I couldn't believe how well it worked. So you've heard, and then there's one for your nervous system as well, Calm Nature. So some people come in and they just buy a whole 4 or 5 of these bottles because it works so well and they never want to run out. So that contains enzymes as well as amino acids and heaps of other good stuff. So we're just telling you this because it's very, very pertinent right now that your immune system stays really good. But your immune system is not just made from vitamin D supplementation or vitamin C, like I said, or zinc or anything like that. Enzymes are like the silent workers, like your army, your soldiers that come in to fortify your body and to really, really boost everything in your body and to help you digest your food and to mop up the stuff if your digestion isn't working. By the way, most people have faulty digestion.
And
right?
if your digestion's faulty, there will be undigested proteins floating around in your system.
Yeah.
Not only in the bloodstream, but out in the lymphatic system, and the enzymes will help mop that up as well, so you don't attract fluid.
That's right.
You get rid of that fluid retention. Yeah.
There's so many reasons. It helps with your menstrual cycle, with headaches. And so the other thing, we also sell enzymes in combination with beet flour and probiotics and a key mineral in the ultimate fertility boost. So every now and then we bring this to your attention again. So that's another really good. You can download this as well.
That pack is really the pack that helped a lot of people, particularly their digestion. It just turns digestive issues on their head.
Okay, so that's probably the happy news. I don't know if we're feeling, maybe we don't look that happy, but we are feeling happy because when we discovered enzymes, we were so relieved.
You can tell we're passionate about enzymes. Yeah,
we were just so relieved because we just felt like, wow, that's been missing from our lives all along. We knew something was missing, but sometimes you just don't know. Like the other thing that people miss, of course, is minerals, right? So salt. People go on a low salt diet. You need lots of salt, otherwise your enzymes are also not going to work. So absolutely foundational is your salt, like healthy Himalayan salt, and then probably the next thing would be, other than a good diet, would be to have regular enzymes pretty much for the rest of your life. It's also really, really good for kids with ADHD and like other things, because it just simply means they're being triggered non-stop. And people like Pete, he could have done with enzymes from the second he was born. And Pete, how old are you now? I think Pete is 63. So that's like 63 years ago. There were babies born with enzyme deficiency, right? But today, pretty much, I would almost say, I'd say nearly every child is born now with an enzyme deficiency. So if you're a mom and you're breastfeeding, it goes through the breast milk. That's really, really good. And get your children started on fermented foods as soon as you can. Even apple cider vinegar with a mother in it is, the mother is that plant, or kombucha. Just
our grandkids eat.
They eat
the sauerkraut out of the jar. Out of the jar, they
literally stick their hands in the jar, which is pretty amazing because it's a bit of an acquired taste if you've never tried it before. All right, so hope you find this helpful. Do come and ask. Don't sit on the fence. Just ask us if you have any problems. You can send us a message, call in, ring up, send us an email, talk to us. We're here Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then we have a long weekend every weekend, and we're here to help you. So come and check out what we've got.
The enzymes are certainly one of the things that is missing out of today's diets.
Also the pricing is very, very reasonable because there's no middleman, so we get it direct from the factory. Definitely worth every cent that you spend on enzymes. And so and the key is you stay young and you get younger as well, which is another really pretty amazing thing for so that 60 will be the new 40, right? That's what I'm trying to say. All right, thank you everyone. So good to see you all here, and
enjoy the extra hour of daylight. Daylight savings.
It's getting dark outside, but it's pretty nice to have a bit more summer. And I hope people who are listening on the other side of the world that you get to enjoy beautiful autumn. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.